Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bittner and Ash Paulson to discuss our predictions of the Game Awards coming up on December 3rd. So, let's get started. So the Game Awards are just around the corner, and of course there are rumblings that Nintendo will be showing off something there. Now we already know that there will be an Iwata tribute, and that Reggie is on the board, or the panel, I guess, for the Game Awards. And of course Nintendo has been present at the show in the past 2 years as well. So it seems like there's a good chance that Nintendo will be at least one of the world premieres featured in the Game Awards. We do know they're scaling back the show a bit in terms of runtime and amount of world premieres. I think they're aiming for 2 hours instead of 3, for instance. So as a quick recap, 2 years ago we got the world premiere of Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and last year we got world premieres for Codename Steam and its multiplayer trailer, new Mario Maker stuff, as well as a pre-recorded gameplay demo for Zelda Wii U. So what are your guys' expectations for this year's Game Awards? Do you think we have another Zelda Wii U announcement on our hands, or do you think we'll get something closer to, say, the Cranky Kong announcement and Tropical Freeze?
I think we're going to get something somewhere in between Zelda and Mario Maker, as far as like how hyped. Because Mario Maker, again, I don't think Mario Maker was sold on people until they did the whole Nintendo, the thing at E3.
The Nintendo World Championships.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think Nintendo really sold people on Super Mario Maker until E3 and the Nintendo World Championships. Because I know for me, myself, that was when I was like, oh wow, this looks amazing. And you kind of got a sense like this could be amazing with this with the Mario Maker trailer at the Game Awards. And of course we had Zelda Wii U. I think it's going to be somewhere in the mid-level where it's going to be something kind of hyped up but not mind-blowing like Zelda Wii U was.
Yeah, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. I agree. Yeah, I remember I wasn't really that hyped for Mario Maker back during that trailer for the Game Awards either. It didn't really, yeah, it kind of took the Nintendo World Championships for me to get really excited about it. And, Zelda Wii U, that there was a lot of hype surrounding that, even though I know some people were a little disappointed with what we actually got because, the footage we actually saw was on that smaller screen that we, were looking at through the camera. So we didn't really get crazy footage, and I'm kind of thinking that we're going to get some new Zelda Wii U footage at the Game Awards this year. I feel like it makes sense to follow up what they did last year with something kind of new this year, so I don't know how much Nintendo content we're actually going to get throughout the Game Awards. I've heard tell that there could be, as many as 3 different Nintendo-related reveals at the show, but that might not be actually true. It's kind of up in the air, but either way, I think that we're going to get something Nintendo-related, and it makes sense for it to be Zelda Wii U. But I agree with you, Derek, that it's probably going to be somewhere in between, last year's Zelda Wii U reveal and Cranky Kong and Tropical Freeze in terms of hype.
I feel like if they show Zelda Wii U at all, they'll instantly put it back up into the tier of last year.
Well, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I don't think they're going to be showing Zelda U this year.
So for me, given the support Nintendo gave last year, I do think we will see something, perhaps not on the same level as last year, but it seems like I held last year in higher esteem than you guys, because that Mario Maker trailer actually really did impress me, because that was the first time we saw that there was actually far more to this game than what E3 had suggested, and that got me actually really excited and opened the floodgates for the potential of the game, which is what was later fulfilled by E3. So I would say that trailer was a turning point for me for Mario Maker, and then having Zelda Wii U top it off, like, that was amazing. Yeah, it was on a small TV, you could barely see it, although we did enhance that video as much as we could, so you could see it. So I actually was thoroughly impressed by that, did not expect that. It was the first real sense of what the game might be about that we've seen of it. With that said, I don't expect something quite of that caliber, but I think even if they show Zelda Wii U, well, I don't know. Even if they show Zelda Wii U again, like, at best, I think it would match it. Because last year's unveil was weird.
Right? Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. But, with that said, I'm conflicted on this. I
can tell.
But overall expectations are lower than last year. Just slightly. I guess it's a good time to get into specific predictions now. And I guess we should start off with Zelda, because we've already touched on that a little bit. So, Ash, you think there's a good chance that they'll show Zelda Wii U again this year?
Yeah, I think there is, but I think the amount that they show or what they show is going to end up being slightly disappointing, which is why I said I'm gonna predict that it's going to be slightly between last year and the year before in terms of hype. Because I just feel like because last year's reveal left so many of us wanting more, I think we're going to be craving, a good amount of new footage and new information for Zelda Wii U that I don't think they're actually going to deliver. I think they're going to show us some new footage, but I don't think we're going to come away from this year's Game Awards actually knowing that much more about the game. That's just kind of how I feel about it. So I do think they're going to show more Zelda Wii U footage, and that alone is going to be pretty hype. But I don't think it's going to be quite as much as everyone really wants it to be. So that's why I'm kind of thinking it's not going to quite match the initial hype levels of that first reveal last year. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of where I'm at on it. That's just kind of how I feel about it. But I'd love to be wrong. If they show us, what if we got a name for the game? What if we got a full new trailer? That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
That would be great, except for our work schedule.
Well, that's
destroy it.
That's for sure.
I don't know. I'm actually being a little bit more reserved with this. I would love for them to do that. And it's possible. They just had the press con last year. I mean, again, I think that was a huge announcement showing it off at all. And it would make sense because they probably want to cater again to that demographic, show that they're show even more of this game, remind people that it is still coming. And so for me, I guess I'll go into one of my predictions. Is I think what we'll definitely get, above all else, is Star Fox Zero. I think we'll see more Star Fox Zero gameplay. I think they'll maybe I'm thinking it's unlikely probably. Last year they showed off a Codename Steam multiplayer trailer. What if they're gonna show off the Star Fox Zero multiplayer trailer this year?
I believe it because that was actually going to be my prediction as well.
Yeah,
because that just seems like the most fitting for that type of show.
It does.
Like to show off Star Fox Zero, have people maybe even come out on stage or show a couple developers doing the multiplayer together. Maybe announce a potential online mode. Who knows? That's the kind of crowd that you could easily cater toward when it comes to Star Fox Zero and multiplayer. Because I remember back when the original 64 came out in middle school, I didn't have an N64 at the time, and my friends were constantly talking about how great the multiplayer was in Star Fox, and they're not even huge Nintendo fans. So I think it might have that wide appeal that might cater to that kind of audience.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree. I was actually going to predict the same thing, Andre. Not necessarily multiplayer, but I absolutely think we're going to see some new Star Fox Zero footage at the Game Awards. It just makes too much sense. It's Nintendo's big upcoming flagship game. The hype levels surrounding it really probably aren't quite where Nintendo would like them to be for various reasons. So I think it makes a lot of sense for them to really try to push the game at the Game Awards and really just try to get people excited about it leading up to its release in April. So, and this was really their last high-profile chance to do that in terms of getting all eyes on it at once, barring a Nintendo Direct.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
So I do think Star Fox Zero is a pretty safe bet there. I also wouldn't be surprised if we got some new footage, just for the hell of it, some new footage of Cloud and Smash Brothers, just because that's such a big deal in terms of this deal that Sakurai was able to secure with Square Enix, and I feel like that's a great thing to show off at an award show like this. Nintendo Final Fantasy crossover, that's huge. So I'm not saying we'll get any new Smash announcements. I don't think we will. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got maybe, a little new snippet of gameplay footage of Cloud and Smash.
I don't know. I think if we got anything Smash related, it would be something entirely new. So, I mean...
Normally I would agree with you. I know that there's that presentation this month. The special Smash presentation. So why would they, not hold it back for that? But no, normally I would agree with you.
Unless there's another character coming, yet another character on top of all of it. So.
That's very true.
I could see, if we go back to the Star Fox thing, I could see an unveiling a wolf at this for Smash.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Which I still fully expect to happen at some point. I am. There's nothing to convince me that Wolf is not coming to the game.
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, again, it's really the only wild card is that special Smash presentation this month. Otherwise, I would be completely comfortable in agreeing with you. I just don't know, I don't know how that presentation fits into any, potential Smash reveal they could have planned.
Right.
Do you think they would be ballsy enough, and I'm going to say no with this right away, to show off Federation Force?
I doubt it.
Oh, that is... You know what? Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, but I actually forgot about that. And I wanted to mention that. I think there's a good chance. And
really?
Because if we see it, I have a feeling it's going to look quite a bit different than what we saw last time. I have a feeling that they are retooling it a little bit. This is based on absolutely nothing. I could be way off base. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling it's going to look a bit different than how we saw last time. And this will be a perfect opportunity to showcase it, because this is the kind of demographic that they need to show. Like, if they do change it, this is the demographic they need to advertise that to.
Well, I don't think that's based on absolutely nothing. I mean, we haven't seen hide nor hair of the game since E3, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been absent. It was absent from the Nintendo Direct a couple of weeks ago. I mean, we haven't got a new trailer, any new information. So I think that's, you know, reasonable to think that it might be getting retooled, at least to a degree. So that if it has been retooled and they're, you know, kind of trying to refocus it toward a more hardcore Metroid audience, then yeah, I think there's probably a chance we could get you know, some new information about that during the award show.
It'd be funny to see, like, this. Like, I'm actually be curious to see whether the crowd would boo or not, just based on comments about Federation.
It would
Force.
depend. It would depend on if they show the logo first or after.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's a decent chance we could get some new footage of Twilight Princess HD, maybe some new information, because that's, you know, again, it's Zelda, it's flagship, it's huge, people are excited about it. You know, Twilight Princess is a fan favorite, despite what we might think about it. It is a fan favorite, so, you know, it kind of depends on how concerned Nintendo is about graphics, right? Because, you know, obviously the comments on the internet toward Twilight Princess HD haven't exactly been kind in terms of visuals. Some people think it looks fine, but I'd say a lot more people think it looks a little disappointing visually. You know, despite whatever you and I think about it, or the three of us think about it, but. You know, if they're not worried about graphics, I could see Twilight Princess HD getting some more information there and some new footage, just because it's a huge thing for Nintendo right now.
So now I'm conflicted, because I went into this thinking that they wouldn't show it off, and I'm still inclined to think that, simply because they already showed off just a few weeks ago in the Direct, and at that time, like, it seemed like they're being relatively reserved with what they were showing. I just got the feeling that what they had shown off was all they wanted to do at that time. So I think this is too soon to show more. Yeah. However, with that said, if they did show off more of it, I think they would tie it into Zelda Wii U. Kind of like how they did for the Direct. So if Zelda Wii U is a thing that they're going to show off, you know, maybe there's a chance it'll show up here. But I'm not expecting it.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily either. That's kind of my prediction for the last possible game that we know about that they could show off. But I'm not necessarily expecting it either.
So I do have one more idea to throw out there, and I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but I figured I'd throw it out there. What do you think are the odds that we'll get a Pokemon announcement of any kind?
I don't think it's the right audience at the Game Awards for Pokemon, because, you know, the usual big announcements that we get, and that seems like something Nintendo would want to have for a Direct or advertise it that way. And I still always see a Pokemon announcement, main series Pokemon announcements around February or so, like that. So if we're going to get something, anything related to Pokemon main series, it's probably going to be then. So I highly doubt we're going to see any kind of Pokemon news, unless they decide that this is a good time to show off Pokken Tournament.
I think, yeah. I think if there's any Pokemon-related footage or whatever happening at the Game Awards, it would probably be related to Pokken Tournament and not a new Pokemon game.
It does kind of seem like that would fit in more with that demographic, too, that the Game Awards has. Which, again, based on nothing but my personal opinion. I have no idea what the demographic actually is.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be humorous. Because, well, I think that kind of touches on why maybe I'm giving last year's Zelda Wii U reveal too much credit, was because by the time that happened, I was already almost falling asleep. It was such a snooze fest last year that I think maybe I was just kind of like over the whole thing by the time Zelda Wii U came around. So that might be unfairly taking away from how cool that actually was.
I think it is, because I mean, were you actively watching the whole thing? Because maybe that's where I got around it, because I wasn't. Like, I had to on, but
unfortunately I was, and that was my first mistake, is that I really shouldn't have been.
Yeah, Andre and I just had it on in the background, and we're like, okay, let's just wait for them to say world premiere or Nintendo. Otherwise, we're just sort of half listening.
No, to their credit, though, they have said that this year is going to be shorter. It's going to be around 2 hours instead of 3.
Yeah.
And there are, again, fewer world premieres, which I think last year they almost had one like almost every commercial break, it seemed like. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what they end up doing here. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts at all about anything related to this, or?
They're totally gonna announce an all-new Rhythm Heaven game for Wii U. Mark my words, it's gonna happen. In my dreams.
Yep. while you're in your dreams while you're sleeping during the Game Awards this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the only thing Nintendo related at this at the Game Awards would be just the Iwata tribute. Like they have that. Like okay, bye.
Of course, that is a possibility. But Reggie is also on the board or whatever for the awards, so I think there will be at least one announcement. So even though we gave a lot of predictions to this discussion, I don't think any of us. I mean, none of us believe all of them are going to happen, of course. So we're just throwing out ideas of what could happen.
Yeah.
I honestly expect two things top. I think it'll be scaled down from last year. I mean, even though if we look back at last year, I don't think a lot of people even remember Codename Steam being there. I went through our videos, I'm like, oh wait, Codename Steam was there. So really, they had two announcements last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I honestly expect even that to stretch. I think we might see one thing from Nintendo, and I think it'll be Star Fox. So. But if we get two, I really hope we get more than that. So
I'm gonna say I think there will be maybe 2 to 3 things from Nintendo. I don't think it'll be just one. 3 might be pushing it, but I don't think it's impossible.
2 could happen. I don't think 3.
Yeah.
I don't think 3 will happen at all.
Right.
But I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see 3.
Yeah. I honestly think it'll just be the Iwata tribute and Star Fox multiplayer. That's what I'm throwing my hat into.
All right, well, I'm gonna throw my vote in for Star Fox Zero, some sort of Zelda related thing, and the Iwata tribute. So that could be either Wii U or Twilight Princess HD.
I could totally see that. Yeah, I could see something Zelda, Star Fox Zero, and the Iwata tribute. I think that is probably what makes the most sense.
Yeah. Now, what are the odds that any of us will get to the Iwata tribute without the waterworks flowing?
Oh man.
Like, how likely is that?
Too much water?
Yeah,
Oh,
too much water.
It's a terrible show.
Oh man, too much water.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be a bit rough. So, especially because I mean the production values are really good at the Game Awards.
They
and
are.
I have a feeling they'll do a really good job with that tribute. So
Yeah. No, I guess just to be fair, or give everyone else their fair shake. Do you have any predictions for non-Nintendo stuff that you are particularly interested in?
I guarantee Uncharted 4 is going to be there.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, Uncharted 4 will be there for sure, and I'm excited to see what they have planned for it.
Do you think the controller will work this time?
Honestly, I think that was a good part of the show that was live. I would personally love to see them show more of the new Ratchet and Clank games coming out next year. I love that.
Me too.
I love that series.
Yeah, that's looking great.
What do you think the odds are we'll see more of the Last Guardian?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think it's
No.
still a little bit off.
Is that coming? When did they give a release date? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet. And I just feel like The Last Guardian might be a little too esoteric or low energy for the Game Awards. I feel like there needs to be something a little more punchy.
Well, No Man's Sky still does well.
True. Yeah, good point. So it's not impossible. I think Uncharted 4 is a safe bet, though.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense.
When's the next Gears of War game coming out? We saw it at E3, but we haven't seen.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know exactly when, but that would make sense to show off a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Especially now that that Halo's out. There's nothing else Halo related down the pipeline that we know of. So
Well, Halo 6. Not too early. Halo 6. World reveal.
never too early. All right, I think that wraps up for us here. Thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. You can find links to them in the description below, which go we keep up to date on everything we post. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain for more from the Game Awards, hopefully, and other things gaming as well. All right, thanks guys. Bye.